York's classic rock, Q1043.
Joel Hoekstra of TSO is here with us. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me here.
Well, we're so happy to have you, and we look forward, of course, to the shows in December. It's been a wonderful partnership between TSO and Q104.3, and we've been able to raise a lot of money through the years as well for God's Love We Deliver.
And we love God's Love We Deliver, delivering meals to people who are ill and can't get out and get their own meals, and the most delicious meals they make.
Now, the Trans-Siberian Orchestra's winter tour this year will be celebrating 20 years of live performances. And you joined in 2010, right?
I did. 2010, correct.
Had you had a chance to see them before you joined?
I had never seen them. I had a couple friends in the band, and when they needed a guitar player, they put my name in, and I auditioned just like any other band, man, and got the gig. So here I am all these years later. It's become a very important part of my life and something I'm proud to be a part of, and I'm really psyched about this year's tour. It's 20th anniversary, actually, of the winter tour. So that's quite an accomplishment, I think, in today's day and age with the way the music industry is, and speaks to the quality of the product, I think.
Yeah, it's 20 years of live performances, and this particular show will be the Ghost of Christmas Eve tour, and that will highlight 1999's The Ghost of Christmas Eve.
Correct. Yeah, the front. Those that haven't seen TSO, the front half is always one of Paul O'Neill's stories. So a bit of a rock opera, and the second half is more of just a free for all rock concert. And TSO, if you haven't seen it, I mean it's pretty hard to describe. It's a mashup of a lot of elements. I mean, you've got obviously the hard rocking elements, but mash that in with classical and the theatricality of Andrew Lloyd Webber and the Pink Floyd laser light show and the moving parts of the stage and the pyro, kind of like almost like a Kiss concert. So you got a lot of things that are hard to describe, a hybrid, but in the end there's something there for all ages, and it's a crazy formula that Paul came up with that on paper you'd say, really, is that going to work? But here we are, man, packing arenas, 2 shows a day, and I couldn't be more proud to be a part of it.
And unfortunately, we've lost Paul O'Neill.
That was so sad.
What a wonderful guy. It was always a pleasure to welcome him here to the radio station.
Very sad to have lost our brother, but honestly, our mindset remains the same. When Paul was around, we were always thinking, look, how can we make Paul happy? Everything we do, the guitar I would pick out, I hope Paul likes this guitar. I hope Paul likes what I'm going to play here. And so that, if anything, has focused us that much more on thinking about what Paul would want, because he did want an extended legacy for Trans-Siberian Orchestra beyond his lifetime. And so we're trying to provide that.
Well, Trans-Siberian Orchestra tickets go on sale today, by the way, at 12 noon. At Ticketmaster.
Yeah, baby.
And they go pretty quickly. So
Yes,
I
they
want
do.
to give you a heads up right now.
It's a Christmas tradition now.
Yes,
that's what it is. It's just part of the season.
It's amazing. It's a delicate dance between trying to provide new elements in a show every year so people don't feel like they're in the movie Groundhog Day and living the same show again. But you also you want to have a level of familiarity there, because people come and they get blown away by the show, and you don't want them to come in the next year and say, well, what's this? This is nothing like last year's show. So
if people go to the ballet to see the Nutcracker, they want to see the Nutcracker.
That's what this is. And again, that's a big part of the 20 years. It's honestly, as a performer and somebody who's been around now for about 8-9 years, that's one of the things that I like best about it, because we have open signing lines after the evening shows. That's completely different than any other band I've ever been a part of. So you get to meet the fans. You see the families coming through, and you get to know them. And a lot of the fans have become my friends over the years. So this tour essentially has become me coming out for 2 months and seeing all my friends. I wouldn't know what to do with myself at the holiday season if I didn't have this tour, man.
Well, speaking of speaking of the Nutcracker, I'm going to play Nut Rocker by Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
All right.
I believe that on this recording, didn't Greg Lake sit in on this recording?
Oh, man, you're getting me with something I don't know, dude. Okay. I really don't know.
That's what I heard. Let's listen to it. Trans-Siberian Orchestra and Nut Rocker, and yes, Greg Lake is.
All right. Okay.
He is featured there.
Thank you.
Okay. Joel Hoekstra is with us. You moved here to New York City in 2001, but you're from Chicago?
Yes, sir. The burbs of.
and you're the son of classical musicians. So when you started playing, you were playing the cello and the piano. And then you discovered AC/DC?
This is all totally accurate and right off my Wikipedia, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah, listen, my parents were really hoping, I think, for a virtuoso. They had me on cello at 3, and there wasn't much there at that age. People picture me being great, but I was playing Old MacDonald Had a Farm. I wasn't playing Bach. And then at piano at age 7, and I'm really glad that they did what they did because it gave me the music fundamentals moving forward. Once I picked up an electric guitar, I saw Angus Young. Remember when MTV started and they had about like 4 or 5 videos just kind of circulating day around? So one of those was AC/DC, and I just looked at Angus Young and went, that's what I want to do. So I went to my parents and said, can I please have a guitar? And I thought they pictured Segovia and went, oh, wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. And then they had no idea what I had in mind. When I came home from the first lesson playing Paranoid about like 6 hours a day through our home stereo at the time, I think they went, oh, maybe this wasn't such a good idea. But things worked out. I've made a living at it, and that's, I think, all parents want the best for their kids with that stuff, and it's been great.
You're in
How many
Whitesnake.
bands are you not in?
Well, you're in he's in Whitesnake.
Right.
He's a member of Whitesnake. Prior to that, he was in Night Ranger, and here's something that I thought was really awesome. When Rock of Ages was on Broadway, you were there and you did Sister Christian and Here I Go Again, right? So you're up there playing...
Correct. And different versions.
But songs from 2 bands you were in.
Yeah, I know. The stars kind of aligned with that, oddly enough. I did some theater work around New York City here, as that tends to come find you, and that's how I got the Rock of Ages Broadway gig. And when they hired me, they had no idea. They came looking and they said, oh, and you're a Night Ranger now? Oh, we had no idea. So it was amazing. The stars just aligned, and that fit together perfectly for that stretch of time. And yeah, nowadays things have evolved a bit. So obviously Whitesnake, we just finished up a big summer run with Foreigner, a new album coming out next year, and a big world tour after that. And amazingly enough, I've been able to juggle in playing with Cher, oddly enough, during this time too.
Yeah,
so,
during her residency in Las Vegas.
Doing the residency in Las Vegas, but also I leave actually today to fly to New Zealand. I'm doing a 5-week arena tour with her down there because she's kicking off a more proper tour. Oddly enough, called Here We Go Again. I'm going, what's happening with my career? I know.
Well, what's it like working with Cher? She's amazing.
She's very quiet and very nice, but it has a lot more on a gig like that. A pop gig has a lot more to do with dealing with the music director and the musicians. So I don't have like the great stories to tell everybody, but it's pretty neat when every once in a while Cher will flirt with me a little bit or something like that. I could say, ooh, that's so cool.
Remember Cher with the Bagel Boy? Jim, and do you remember?
I do.
Here in New York,
Yeah.
I mean, the tabloids went crazy.
Yeah.
Rob Camilletti.
You remember his
How
name.
do I remember his name?
That was
Whatever
the
happened
80s.
to the Bagel Boy?
That was the 1980s.
I remember. It was like day after day, Cher and the Bagel Boy.
Okay, so Whitesnake was on the road with Foreigner, but you've done some work with Foreigner too.
I filled in for Mick Jones in 2011 when he was sick. Yeah, that was a stressful but wonderful, wonderful moment in my life. Their manager, Phil Carson, called me after I was with Night Ranger at the time, right? And the package was Night Ranger, Foreigner, Journey. And we were packing. We were breaking records that summer, 23,000 people a night and things like that. And I got a call from their manager after we played Jones Beach, and he said, Mick's not feeling so well. I might need you to start taking a look at the set. Made it sound very ho-hum. And we had a night off in my home apartment here in New York City, and he said to call Jeff Pilson, the music director, the next day. So I called Jeff and I said, so Phil wanted me to maybe start looking at the music. He said, oh, you haven't heard? You're on tomorrow.
Wow.
And so I thought, okay, get me the music now. So I had about 24 hours to learn it and then fly to Virginia Beach, and I was on in front of 18,000 people with both bands the next night with Night Ranger and Foreigner. So stressful event, but a musical highlight actually in my life.
Well, Mick Jones, a great guy.
What a songwriter and what a producer and what a gentleman. Wonderful guy. I'm such a huge Mick Jones fan.
Joel Hoekstra of Whitesnake and Trans-Siberian Orchestra is here with us this morning at Q104.3. So what's David Coverdale like as a boss?
I'll tell you what, man, I've been so pleasantly surprised. I didn't know what to expect going in.
You know, because he's one of the great rock icons of all time. I mean, one of the great,
Years ago, there was a lot of turnover in the band with personnel, and so you don't know what to expect. And maybe David's mellowed with old age, but there has been a lot more consistency in the lineup, really, in more recent years. And he's been nothing but fantastic to work for, from my perspective. Wonderful, I'll say boss. He's a wonderful boss. I mean, he loves to be.
Well, he's the band leader. He
is indeed. I mean, really, Whitesnake is his band. He's built it and had various musicians come through. But he's all about the laughs and being one of the guys. And then just when you start thinking, hey, this guy's just hanging out with us, he's our buddy, he'll start telling you about working with Jimmy Page or Richie Blackmore. And you go, oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, my gosh. I'm sitting here next to a rock and roll royalty.
And well, you just must love to work, because you're also a writer. You have a monthly column in Guitar World magazine.
Yeah, look, whatever you can do. I think you have to approach the music business from a workmanlike standpoint if you want to make a living in it. A lot of people come into it for the party, and their careers just crash and burn. I think definitely the fact that I've been able to juggle a few gigs, and most guitar players would be lucky to have one, just comes down to kind of being clear-minded and approaching it, being very clear with the people you work for, and doing the best at every turn. I try to be productive every day. That's my philosophy.
Well, you're very productive this time of year. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, because it's a big winter tour.
Massive.
And this year it's the Ghost of Christmas Eve tour. You launch November 14th. There's, 100+ performances for TSO all across the nation. And here in our area, let's do the shameless plug, because we don't want people to miss out on getting tickets. They go on sale today at noon.
And they go fast.
And they do go fast.
Yeah.
They do go,
Absolutely.
because people look forward to the show every year. So our annual Q104.3 Christmas concert with Trans-Siberian Orchestra at Nassau Coliseum, December 20th. And then 2 shows on December 22nd at Prudential Center. And remember, a portion of the proceeds, once again, benefits God's Love We Deliver.
You know, I just thought of something. You know, Christmas in July is getting really big. Did you guys ever consider doing a mini tour in July? I mean, why not?
I just play the songs. That would be up for Adam Lind out there, waiting out there patiently in the lobby for us.
You may have just given them an idea.
Would that be?
Yeah, the TSO summer tour. Right?
Yeah, Christmas in July. TSO.
Anyway, we thank you for getting up early and riding the subway. If you saw a guy on the subway this morning who looked a lot like a rock star,
Wearing leather pants.
that was Joel.
That was Joel.
Thank you for visiting with us.
Thank you, Joel.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time today and the support. Very kind of you.
Well, we appreciate everything
We look forward.
that you do.
Yeah.
And we look forward to your performances
We do.
In December. And when you're back next year with whomever.
I think, Cher has an arena tour, I think, at the top of the year. So that's the next thing. In January, I think it begins. So people are going to blink and suddenly see me back out there. Although, how many people go to TSO and then also to Cher? I don't know. But
who knows?
Hey, and then I think Whitesnake, we have a new record coming out next year. And David has said, we're doing the full world tour. So I'd imagine there's got to be some New York stuff. And I hope to see you guys there.
Drop
All right.
by. Yeah.
So drop by anytime. You're always welcome.
Awesome.
TSO tickets today, 12 noon. And here's Trans-Siberian Orchestra at the Q.